Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, Raven finally nerfed Warzone's most OP guns. We also get to debunk a Battlefield 6 leak, Respawn are working on lost Apex account data, and much more. Raven are finally fixing Warzone's balance problems. The latest update for the game made two minor changes to the Cold War AUG and FFAR. The recoil strength on the AUG has been increased to make two-tap instant kills more difficult. The FFAR's ADS time has been increased to mitigate its effectiveness as a fast reaction close quarters weapon. These nerfs may not be particularly meaningful in the long run. The AUG's ability to quickly down people hasn't really been affected in medium to close range, and the FFAR is still one of the fastest killing weapons in the game. But unlike recent balance updates, these changes are actually noticeable. Both guns feel different, and it's safe to say that the AUG will probably be slightly less popular going forward. A few bugs with weapon attachments have also been fixed, though nothing significant stands out. All that said, Ravens still have a lot of work left to do. Warzone's weapon balance has always favored a small selection of weapons, but the Cold War weapon integration skewed balance by adding insanely low TTK weapons into the mix. It seems like Warzone's entire weapon roster could use an entire retweaking. In other Warzone news, the zombie infestation is moving to the Atlas Superstore location. The game's social media accounts hyped up the zombies' previous move to the TV station by escalating the infection from 5% to 33%. Whatever's happening to Warzone because of the zombies is slowly building to something big. Unfortunately, the theory is that players will be teleported back in time to stop the zombie invasion from ever happening as the current version of Verdansk gets nuked. The theory is based on the leaked Cold War era version of Verdansk. There have been a lot of Battlefield leaks recently. It's debatable how many of them are actually worth taking seriously. Fortunately, we can say with confidence this supposed menu screen leak is fake. It popped up on Reddit recently, but users there quickly traced down the source image, which is Battlefield 4 concept art. So if you see this image floating around on social media, you can be sure that it's fake. Another recent rumor is that Battlefield 6 might be available on Xbox Game Pass at launch. One of the hosts of the Xbox Era podcast said there's a chance the game will be on Game Pass on day one. Of course, that sounds like big news, but it's important to keep in mind that the ultimate tier of the Game Pass includes EA's subscription service, EA Play. It's highly likely Battlefield 6 will launch as an EA Play title on day one, which means it would also appear on Xbox Game Pass at the same time. Yesterday, we reported on Apex Legends users having their accounts wiped. Later that evening, Respawn issued a statement saying they're aware of the situation, and this morning they potentially resolved part of what's been causing it. PlayStation 4 players might notice some iffy stats when they first load the game up today, but everything should return to normal after one match. Players that lost account data because of this specific issue will have their progress restored from a backup. Respawn are also working on stomping out DDoS attacks directed at Titanfall 1 and 2. They recently tweeted that they're aware of the problem and help is coming as soon as possible. Titanfall 1 has been getting DDoSed for years by a mysterious figure in the community named Gene. It's unclear if Gene is one person or a group, but they're accused of DDoSing the game on a regular basis. Recently, Titanfall 2 users started reporting issues that are probably related to DDoSing. Some of those users are Twitch streamers hosting charity events. Respawn haven't said what they're doing about the situation or if they've caught Gene. Ubisoft bought anti-cheat developer GameBlocks. They're a server-side anti-cheat software company whose fair fight tools have been used in Battlefield, Titanfall, Division, and Rainbow Six franchises. While they might not exactly inspire confidence in players, it could mean more direct integration and support for future Ubisoft games. What makes Fair Fight unique is that it algorithmically tracks player behavior and adapts to new cheats as they're tweaked to avoid detection. While there's no silver bullet solution, recent improvements to Fair Fight have cut down on cheaters in Siege. The game is still overrun with potential cheaters in ranked mode though. Some players believe there's at least one cheater in every 3 ranked matches that they play. The iconic Half-Life multiplayer mode Neotokyo is getting a single-player spin-off. A demo for the spin-off is now available on ModDB. Neotokyo has a legendary reputation as one of the more interesting Half-Life mods. It blends Half-Life with Ghost in the Shell and has an incredible soundtrack composed by Ed Harrison. As for the single-player spin-off, it reminds me a lot of G-String. Despite the name, G-String is one of the best Source engine games ever made and has some incredibly complex environments. Neotokyo's single-player looks less complex and grungy, but still has some very impressive environments. The full game launches next year. E3 has been moved up a few days to June 12th. It'll be a free online-only event with announcements from Nintendo, Xbox, Ubisoft, and more. They moved the date from its usual June 15th slot to make room for competing events like Steam Next, EA Play, and other publisher events. Authorities in Brazil have launched a loot box investigation. Developers could face up to $700,000 in fines depending on the outcome of the investigation. Links between gambling and loot boxes have been pouring out of studies recently. Many of them suggest kids getting hooked on loot boxes are much more likely to develop gambling habits later in life. Loot boxes are technically illegal under Brazil's current gambling laws, so if authorities find developers guilty, it seems like a foregone conclusion that hefty fines will be issued. Germany and other European countries have started rolling out laws that clamp down on loot boxes, but most developers are either finding ways around the new laws or holding up the fines with court appeals. Nvidia might be bringing the GTX 1080 Ti back to ease demand for new GPUs. The ongoing semiconductor shortage is crippling many tech hardware companies for meeting demand. Nvidia put the RTX 2060 and GTX 1050 Ti back into production over the past few months. Some users are claiming warranty replacement EVGA 1080 Ti's are brand new. This could be a hint that Nvidia are putting the GPU back into production. It could also be from a stockpile EVGA keep on hand specifically for warranty replacements. Dying Light 2's map will be 4 times bigger than the original game's open world. That info comes from a recent interview with the game's senior technology programmer. He says the map will be much more vertical than the original game as well. That's good news considering the game is all about parkouring around the zombie hordes. Before we get to today's final story, just a quick reminder that we post the day's top stories as bite-sized videos on social media. If you want a sneak peek at what's in store for today in gaming before the video actually goes live, check us out on Twitter, TikTok, and our dedicated LevelCap Shorts YouTube channel. A technical alpha for Diablo 2 Resurrected launches on the 9th. Players will get the Barbarian, Amazon, and Sorceress to play with through the game's first 2 acts. Playtesting is on an invite-only basis for players that signed up for a chance to get in on the game's website. You can still sign up if you're interested, but don't expect a big wave of invites to go out anytime soon. Aside from the limited character selection and acts, there won't be any other restrictions in place, so you'll be able to grind each character up to very high levels. That said, you'll only have 4 days to play. The alpha closes on the 12th, but more are planned for the future. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.